When Hurricane Michael hit Florida, Tyndall Air Force Base near Panama City was in the direct line of fire. The base was home to several dozen of our top military jets, the F-22 stealth fighters. Lisa Fletcher recently spoke to national security strategist Rebecca Grant and found out 17 of those planes were hit hard by the storm.
What is your understanding as to why all of the F-22s were not flown out of Tyndall before Hurricane Michael hit?
The F-22s at Tyndall were suffering from a shortage of spare parts. So the F-22s that were left behind were unflyable mainly because of spare parts issues. This was an underfunded program. If you have an auto repair shop and you lay off half the people and you don't buy parts, you can't fix cars. This is what happened with the F-22. The Air Force had to cut maintenance personnel a few years ago, and the long sequester defense budgets have meant that we haven't bought enough parts for the F-22 replacement parts.
Almost all of the damaged F-22s were kept in aircraft hangars, where planes that can no longer fly are sometimes referred to as hangar queens.
It can refer to any aircraft that a squadron has decided has so many parts missing that they'll go ahead and take another part off that to fix an airplane that's more flyable. You do that 5 or 6 times and you have a hangar queen, which means that it's likely to just be in that hangar for a long time. The sad thing is to see that happen to a rare asset like the F-22, where it really is just a matter of funding more spare parts for the aircraft. There are even problems sometimes getting spare parts for the F-22s that are deployed overseas in the counterterrorism operations. So hangar queens happen, but you don't want to see that happen with a premier new asset like the F-22.
What's the extent of the damage to the F-22s left behind?
We're still waiting to learn the extent of the damage. We know that at least 5 of the aircraft left behind have been brought out of the damaged hangar and have flown away to Langley Air Force Base, which is another F-22 base. Looks like those will have only minor damage. There are others that we're still waiting to see what the extent of the damage is.
And it isn't just the F-22s at Tyndall. Last year, most F-22s were grounded.
In 2017, the F-22 fleet as a whole reached a low where it was only 49% mission capable.
Some might argue that it's not worth it, that these planes are already, as highly advanced as they are, they're already becoming obsolete, and there are other planes that are being built for far less money.
I would repair every single F-22. In fact, the Air Force just repaired an older F-22 that had been used in test, and they brought that back after 6 years of not flying it. The F-22 is still the world's #1 fighter. The Chinese and Russians have nothing like it, so the Air Force needs to fix every single F-22.
So a reasonable person may ask, what are these incredibly expensive and valuable aircraft doing in a part of a country where they could be hit by a hurricane? Why not move them out prior to a crisis?
It makes a lot of sense. What no one realized was how deep the readiness hole is in this case and how long it's taking the Air Force and the Navy to recover from the readiness underfunding.
The Air Force estimates fixing all those planes could cost up to $1 billion tax dollars.